get investors, not just purely domestic investors, but investor with some international connections. It could be a Malaysian-based investor, but it could be foreign investors who can help them grow in overseas market. And speaking as an angel investor, for example, we have invested in company overseas. Like I've invested in company in Silicon Valley, in India, and China. But in all cases, we usually want to make sure that we have a partner who co-invest with us in that location. Because let's say, for example, I invested in a company in India, but it's so far away, I can't be there to help the company, and I can't be there to monitor. So it's important for me to have a partner, co-investor from that economy, right, who can be there to help. So in that sense, one of the challenges might be for a Malaysian company that needs to go international is to see how it may be able to find either co-investor from those home economies. Because it's not just the money, because they have the connections, they can help introduce. So if access to their market and access to partners in that economies is important, having investor who have connection to those places, or having core investor from those countries could be an important factor. So in this regard, I think it's very good. One thing I like about the way you have done this pitching is that you have actually invited, investor from various part of Asia. Like I know of the angel from Mumbai Angels, the Rob from Shanghai. So I think that would be good because if some of them get interested, then they can perhaps be the one who introduced to investor, or they themselves might be able to co-invest with investors in Malaysia. So I think that's a very good development, and I like to compliment you all for having done it, and I hope that this will be something you all can continue to do, and call it BANSEA, because I feel we have an opportunity to try and look at Southeast Asia as a whole, because you see, compared to like China and India, where there are huge domestic market and a lot of interesting deal flow. So a lot of VCs, foreign VC, when they want to set up fund, they usually go to India, go to China, because the market is big. And they are less, interested to look at Southeast Asia because the market is so fragmented. So that's why there are not that many ASEAN fund, I mean, my good friend Henry Nguyen in Vietnam, he runs the IDG. So they have an IDG Southeast Asia fund. But that's a rare exception. Most don't have a fund that actually focus on Southeast Asia. But I think that's where, because it is relatively neglected by some of the big VCs from the West, I think there's an opportunity for us to think of looking at opportunity in ASEAN. And I think if we have cross-border investing, it will improve the potential and growth opportunity of our startup. Because each one is looking at only like Singapore company looking at the Singapore market, Malaysian startup looking at Malaysian market, we cannot grow so much, you see. Whereas a Chinese entrepreneur, he can grow the whole China, or India, So we need to find way to increase both the market potential of entrepreneurs, but maybe, and you have actually a lot of government funding support scheme like Cradle, like some of the grant scheme from MOSI and so on. In fact, looking at it objectively from Singapore, sometimes we say maybe Malaysia has government a better scheme, more generous schemes. But I guess in order to have a complete ecosystem, you need more than just government funding support, but you need the mentors, you need the angel investors, and you need the VCs as well. Because sometimes it's a value chain, right? I mean, if you don't have the VCs, then the angel investor will be reluctant to invest. Because we invest on the assumption that we can help the company grow to a certain point so that the VC will then follow on to invest. If there's no VC, then we will also dare not invest, right? So we need to build the entire chain. And the other thing is that maybe Malaysia also have a lot of universities, and you probably also need to look at how to maybe improve the infrastructure to help more spin-off of company from the university by the professors and students. We have to address a sizable problem, I mean, there's a sizable market of people which need this solution, you know. So I think that's one of the important thing, you know. Is it how big is the problem, and therefore how scalable it is, yeah. So that's one thing. Of course, the other thing is that whether they have a defensible technology or a defensible competitive advantage that allow them to at least, you know, capture a meaningful part of the space. Ideally, you want them to be able to dominate it, but even if they cannot dominate, at least they can carve out, you know, a sizable niche. So I think that it could be because they have some proprietary technology. It could be because they have some, you know, special know-how connections. It may be because other bigger competitors are not looking at these part of the world. You know, there had to be some reason we feel that they have at least a window, you know, to execute to achieve that. So these to us will be usually quite important thing. And of course, the third is that we look at the entrepreneur, you know, he said how passionate and committed the entrepreneurs to make it to succeed, because we know that as you scale, sure got new problem arising, and we want to make sure that these entrepreneurs are willing to persevere and also willing to listen and change if need be, you know. So these will be the usual three things we look for. Now, obviously, different investors have a different mix of this. For us, speaking as an early stage investors, we are kind of interested in company that has potential to scale big, because you know, we are not like the later stage VC where they are looking at lower risk company where even the scalability is not that high, but if it's you know, reasonable business already proven.